thank you for tuning into the Spooky Scary Show, where two friends in two different states discuss all things spooky, creepy, and just downright strange. So, welcome to our segment. Just wanted to start things off and just seeing what you're drinking over there, Pinky.
I am drinking a good old-fashioned light beer. You know, that's how I roll. What are you drinking, Dolly?
Oh my god. Okay, so I have the creme de la creme. I have I have LaCroix lime sparkling water with some gin, and then I threw some blueberries in the bottom, but I didn't muddle them, so they're just kind of chilling.
Girl, you bougie.
Girl, I don't know, I gotta have the fancy tastes going on.
I'm over here drinking cheap light beer in Washington. I
Washington.
gotta get on Dolly's level.
That's right, Pinky. Get on my level. I love gin. It's so good. It's so refreshing.
It is pretty good. It's got like a heavy rubbing alcohol flavor at first, but then it kind of like smooths into the botanical flavor, and I kind of dig it. I'm not a big
Yeah.
liquor person, but I'm trying.
Broadening your horizons. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, as Pinky knows, I was the biggest beer drinker, as always. You know, beer's been my number one, and I made a diet transition to cut out all the glutens for a mild allergy reason, and it's been tough, but I've narrowed it down to I can drink wine and gin, and I don't get a really bad reaction, so it's not the same as beer, and cider is not beer. It doesn't count, so don't tell me, oh, just get yourself a cider. I'm like, no, beer is delicious.
Rest in peace, glutens. You were the best.
Hell yeah. And real life pizza and everything.
Oh yeah. I was gonna send you a picture of my pasta that I made the other night, but I was like, oh, that's not very nice. That's like sending
Oh no.
sending an alcoholic a
I
picture
think
of
that's
your
so
beer.
good.
Or a
Like,
recovering alcoholic. Like, girl, this beer's so good.
this is so good. You should try it.
I'm in recovery. There I go yelling again. Don't yell.
Yeah, I probably just went off the charts there too. But that's okay.
So,
What kind of pasta did you make?
oh,
Now I have to know.
it was like an Alfredo pasta, sort of, but I discovered that if you use real block Parmesan cheese and shred it yourself, it is the most amazing gift to pasta
From God.
you could ever. Yeah. Oh my God. So it was like an Alfredo, but I put fresh Washington grown tomatoes in it and spinach. It was delicious.
Oh my god. See, if I were to try and make that, it would probably be made with some hard ass noodles that they call pasta, and then some canned store-bought crap, and then some dried out tomatoes, because nothing grows in Arizona because it's 115 degrees outside. I'm just going to be dreaming of your pasta.
Yeah, it was really good. Canned Alfredo pasta is a sin. Don't ever do it. You will go to hell if you use canned Alfredo pasta.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Jesus. Please forgive me. Alrighty, so with a toast, this episode we will be talking about, well, the theme I picked was cowboy because Arizona, you know, you get like spooky, scary, like cowboy stuff. But then at least I don't know, Pinky Story, the way it works is we pick a topic. We don't tell each other's stories, so that way we get a more genuine reaction. So the main headline is cowboy, and then we just kind of went down that whole rabbit hole. So, Pinky, what do you got for us today?
So, you might be just a little bit familiar with the area for this story. It's about the Superstition Mountains, which are east of the Phoenix
Hometown.
area. What?
Hometown.
Yeah, close to a little town called Apache Junction, and that's the town that Dolly and I met in high school.
Hmm.
How long did you live in Apache Junction?
Uh, we moved out there when I was 3. So,
Forever.
yeah, I can't do math. And I'm 25, so you guys do the math for me.
Anyway, I lived there for about 12 years, I think. It's a pretty nice little town. Lots of Wild West and Native American history. Beautiful mountain
Yep.
right in your backyard.
Mhm.
All right, so the region was inhabited by the Apache Indians. They considered the Superstition Mountain to be sacred ground and home to their thunder god. Apache lore also believes access to the lower world or underworld can be found in the Superstition Mountains, and winds from this dimension are the cause of severe dust storms in the Arizona desert.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah, me either.
That's crazy.
Something that I thought of a lot is like Apache Junction's kind of like the valley. I think all of like Phoenix and surrounding is in like a bowl surrounded by mountains. At least in
Mhm.
Apache
Yep.
Junction, we didn't get a lot of the storms because they got like stuck at the mountain.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yep.
that's just something I noticed from my time living there, and I thought that that was kind of weird given the superstition behind the Superstition Mountains.
Definitely. And I never noticed that until even Pinky brought it up because, it's all I've grown up and I've known is just sunshine and maybe some rain in the summer if you're lucky. But other than that, it's like nothing.
Yeah, crazy. So, when the Spanish conquistadors arrived there in the late 16th century, they too were searching for gold, the famous Seven Cities of Gold. Upon learning that the area did in fact contain gold, the Spaniards were intent on exploring the area in utter disregard for the Apaches' beliefs. The Apaches claimed that the thunder god would take revenge upon the Spaniards for trespassing on holy land, but they were determined to explore. At that point, Spanish explorers began to disappear. The conquistadors urged the men to stay together, but more men continued to disappear, only to be found dead later. So, this story is kind of expanding upon what I just read. It comes from the Reddit user Exploding Tacos 14.
Hell yeah, fam.
Thank you for the story, Exploding Tacos 14. In the early 1800s, the area was in the middle of Apache land. The Apache believed this area was inhabited by dangerous spirits and didn't live or hunt anywhere near it. Copper was discovered nearby, and that area was taken from the Apache. If you know anything about the Apache, this was a bloody process.
Hmm.
Despite the famous ferocity and war skill of the Apache, the land was open for mining. Like most newly mineable land at the time, prospectors rushed in and laid claims in the valley below the area playfully named the Superstition Mountains. A bit late to the game, Jacob Waltz, a German immigrant, couldn't find a spot to start mining. One day, despite warnings, he wandered into the mountains and hit a huge vein of copper. Every day he would sneak into the mountains and return with bags of copper. He quickly became the richest man in the area. People would follow him to the mine every day, but he was always able to lose them. The mountains are steep and rocky, so not surprising. Many of those who followed him were never seen again. One day, while trying to evade someone following him, Jacob slipped and fell to his death, and the location of his mine died with him.
Oh my god.
Right?
What is kind of crazy? Sorry to cut you off, but my mom actually volunteered at the Lost Dutchman State Park. So she worked a lot on the Superstition Mountain itself, and her job as a volunteer is just to basically like maintain a lot of the land and stuff. And one day, one of her projects was to actually go up the Superstition Mountains because some naughty teenagers actually tagged the mountain. And she said when she went up on the mountain, she could actually still see the holes where the miners would actually put the dynamite and stuff. And she said that there is still some dynamite in there, but obviously it's like super old. But state park does not recommend, you go into any of like the caves or wherever, because you just never know what's going to be in there, or you could just fall into a mine shaft.
Yikes.
A lot of runners, it recently happened on the news. This guy was running and he just fell into a mine shaft, and he was in there for like 12 hours, and the police had to like get him out and stuff. So all the stuff that Pinky's talking about, it's super real. Like, people were really out to get this gold back in the day.
I was going to say, and for hundreds of years, there's still people that go out there to look for it and disappear. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Did your mom ever talk about any like negative feelings?
Well, I would honestly say just like my mom never really said anything really eerie, but just being out there, just like in the desert, or like one of her friends used to live on the base of the mountains, like it's definitely like spiritually charged, I would say. Like, a lot of eerie, creepy stuff just kind of goes on at nighttime. Like, I definitely believe in any of the superstitions, and it's a lot more charged than you would say like Phoenix.
That's not where the vortex is it?
Nope, that's in Sedona.
Another day.
Yes. My people.
So, to this day, no one knows the location of the mine or if it's even real. Hundreds of people hike into the mountains, sure they will find millions. To this day, it has never been found. It has been dubbed the Lost Dutchman Mine. Some think that the Apache spirits use the mine as a trap for greedy prospectors to punish those who stole their land. Unwise people die all the time on Phoenix trails. Yes, you will die if you try to hike with 1 bottle of water in August. It happens every summer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The mystery with the Superstition Mountains is the bodies are never found. This area is in town and has cell reception, so tourists stay on the main trail and are easily found by park rangers, but locals who go looking for the lost treasure simply disappear. Some think that there was never a mine at all. They say that Jacob made a deal with the spirits. They rewarded him with wealth for a blood sacrifice of the prospectors who stole their land. I thought this was a fun local story when I moved here, but every few months there are local news reports on missing experienced hikers last seen in the area, and it makes you wonder. Yep, that's my spooky scary.
Yeah, I love it. I bet you 5 doll hairs, they fell into like the little mine shafts, like this runner did, like this past like beginning of summer. He was like 58 or so, but luckily the guy didn't like break any of his bones. But people still to this day go out there trying to find the Lost Dutchman's mine and stuff, but it's really cool. I don't know.
You don't realize how easy it is to get lost in something like that, even in just like the woods that are not necessarily mountain ranges. We've been up there. We used to hike to the Wave Cave on Peralta Trail, and the first time we went, we were following a trail, that had like markers, but then we got off the trail, and then we're bushwhacking and rock climbing and like can't find the trail, don't know where we are, the sun's going down, we plan to stay in this cave and we can't find it. So we end up just staying in this random hole on the side of the mountain. And we were really like only like 30 feet away from the actual cave that we were going to, but
you couldn't see.
Yeah, no.
And you just pray to God, like, no mountain lions, no coyotes, no bobcats, no rattlesnakes, like, I'm here, please don't eat me. Even little javelinas, they're a little feisty. I've been chased by a few of those in the desert, let me tell ya.
Those are mean. Yeah, we definitely don't go into the desert unarmed.
Yeah. A lot of water is key, and snacks and shade. Oh, I remember this one story. It's very spooky, scary, kind of. When my mom, it's kind of like,
Very spooky, scary, kind of.
I'll let you be the judge. When my mom was a volunteer for the Lost Dutchman State Park, they got a call about this guy, and he was leaning up against, I don't remember if it was a cactus or like a rock. It was something just kind of like, what is this dude doing? He had one arm that was, just chilling, like straight down. He was standing, and then his elbow and his elbow was against like the wall or whatever, and then his head was resting on his arm. So the park rangers, they went out there. The guy like shook his shoulder to be like, "Hey man, are you okay?" And the guy fell over, and it actually turned out he had a heat stroke, and he passed away, just standing there. And the guy who found him, I forgot his name, but obviously everybody was very shocked. But unfortunately, it's common. We get a lot of visitors out here in Arizona, and they want to experience the wildlife, they want to see the desert, but then they're not fully equipped. And sometimes your body, it just can't handle the heat. And that guy, he just rested his head probably just to take a break, and probably suffered a heat stroke or whatever.
Even the most fit and most physically equipped people cannot handle 115-degree weather. Like, just don't go hiking when it's 115 degrees, please. Just don't.
Yeah. Or if you decide to go, you better leave your animal at home, because you best believe people be going hiking with their dogs.
I think they made it a law that you can't take your dogs on trails if it's over 100 degrees now.
Swear to God.
It's not okay. And if you go hiking with your animal, you need to make sure you bring enough water for your animal.
Soak them. Just drench them in water and be like, "I'm so sorry," stay cool, because they can't sweat. They're not like us. Ugh, don't even get me started.
That's it for our PSA on hiking safety and heat awareness. I do have a side note that kind of goes with the story I just told. So Jonathan actually spent a lot of time up on the mountain. He would go hiking and stay the night up there on the
Oh my God.
I don't know exactly where the Lost Dutchman Mine is compared to Siphon Draw Trail and Flatiron, but he camps up on top of Flatiron.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and he goes up there and camps alone.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. He said one time he was up there though, and he was camping, and he saw eyes glowing at him.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. For those of you who don't know where the Flatiron is, that is right on top of the Superstition Mountain, and it just flattens out, right? I've never been up there. I'm not a hiker myself, but it's at the tip top. It's just like a flat iron, and best believe I would not be caught dead camping up there.
Right. Well, what we see of the Superstition Mountains from Apache Junction is only like a section of it, right?
Yeah, it looks like a ship.
And I think does it go far back? Like, it continues back.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if a cave is like a right description, but like the front of it is kind of like a pointed, like a ship, and then it's just you kind of go like back. Horrible description, but yeah, it's beautiful though, I'll tell you.
Amazing. I think I read that it's like one of the fourth or second most photographed locations in Arizona is the Superstition Mountains.
That's right. Man, I moved to the city, so I really do miss having that in my backyard.
When she says she moved to the city, she literally moved like 30 miles away.
It still counts as a city compared to Apache Junction. It's like a little, well, I don't know. Apache Junction is more up and coming from when I was there, but before it was only like a little tourist town. basically.
I remember going to Apache Junction when I was a kid, and literally there was nothing. There was like
Yeah.
the ghost town and
Mhm.
dirt and dust devils.
Yeah. Kmart maybe, and the Kmart closed down.
And that one restaurant, like Cobb's or Dirtwater.
Yeah, Dirtwater. There's like Sky Dance, Skies. Like, okay, so this little town, there's like random bars. So there'll be like nothing but desert and like, trailers or houses. And then there'll be like a bar. And then you kind of go down a little bit more, just trailers and maybe some houses. And then like another like random bar. So people like literally ride their horses to the bar.
In
Still
this year, she's
considered
not talking
illegal.
about like in the past. She's talking about in 2019. People still literally ride their horses
You can get a
to
DUI.
the saloon.
To the saloon. That's right.
Alrighty, I think it is your go. What do you got for me?
Okay, so I got a twofer. So it's funny how you kind of pick like the whole like mining theme because both of mine are both with like the mining theme. So, the first story takes place in New Mexico. So this is called Hell Dogs of Eldorado Canyon. Man per man and mile per mile, Eldorado Canyon has a wilder range of historical events than anywhere in the Wild West. This rich history, coupled with the turbulent events taking place in Eldorado Canyon in the 19th century, has led to numerous ghost stories of dead miners, Indians, and pioneers who once roamed the area. However, some of the most fascinating are the ghostly tales of canine spirits. Super excited.
Canine like dog?
Yes, I'm so excited. Like little potatoes. I call my dogs potatoes just because they're so cute. So this is about the little doggies. Even though they're anything but like cute little cuddly dogs, but we'll get there.
Oh boy.
I know. So reportedly, during the rowdy mining days, many of the prospectors kept dogs at their claim sites to protect their property. Reared to attack at the slightest trespass by strangers, the dogs were often extremely vicious. Man's best friend or not, many of these dogs were, okay, this is sad, prepare yourself. Many of these dogs were shot, left chained at the site to die, or released into the wild when the gold played out and the miners left the area. So these people basically they protected their gold so much that they made these animals extremely vicious to the point where you couldn't even like let them off of their chain to let them into the wild. Like they would probably attack you.
Poor
Yeah.
bubbies.
I know.
So sad.
I know. I love dogs so much. Over the years, numerous tales of sightings of these many spectral hounds have been told by exploring visitors and locals alike. A few even tell of being attacked by these ferocious canine apparitions. So I found this story on theshadowlands.com. It's basically kind of like a forum where everybody shares like their ghost stories. So this one is Hell Dogs of Eldorado Canyon story by Ryan A. Sevedine? Okay. Eldorado Canyon on the Colorado River, just above the Hoover Dam. This was once a site of an early 20th century mining town. Legend has it that many miners would keep dogs at their claims for protection and also as a reliable food source in extreme times of need.
They ate them?
They ate their little potatoes. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that until just now.
Douche canoes.
Oh my god, I don't like this. Okay. Oh, this next sentence is also really sad, so brace yourself. Spooky scary. I'm doing it for you. These dogs were more often than not brutally reeled so as to not tolerate even the slightest trespass by a stranger. When the mines finally ran dry and miners moved to other workable areas, many of these dogs were either shot on sight, simply left behind chained as they were, or for the lucky ones released to fend for themselves. For many years since people have came out to this canyon with tales of sighting and in a very few instances terrifying accounts of actually being attacked or chased by these alleged ghost dogs while exploring various different mining or town sites in the area. Curious as to the validity of such tales, my brother and I made the decision to do a little exploring of our own. On the first few excursions, we found nothing as was expected. However, on the last adventure, we stumbled on what we thought was just another anonymous shaft site. As we looked closer at the site, we noticed about an 8-foot severely weathered chain embedded into the rock wall at the entrance to the shaft. I can't say that word. It's fine. Well, curiosity got the best of the both of us, and foolishly we entered the shaft. There we came upon the bones of what appeared to be those of a large dog. We decided to camp here as the day was coming slowly to its end, a decision that we would later come to regret. The still desert night closed in as we had dinner and relaxed around our small campfire. We heard what we assumed were coyotes yipping and calling off in the distance. The atmosphere became thick and very uneasy. We now felt that we were being watched from a very close distance. What we thought was the nighttime breeze now sounded more like the panting or breathing of a large dog in close proximity. Then we heard the growling, grating, low and hateful. The fall of paws on the desert sand now became apparent. They seemed to circle the campsite. We were surrounded. That's when the scratching started. It came from the area where the chain laid. That damn chain moved. It seemed to tug away from the rock wall, pulling harder and harder each time. We fumbled for our gear and stumbled to our feet. My brother shone his flashlight at the chain. There were scratch marks in the rock. There were what appeared to be blood stains on the wall, seemingly where the unfortunate dog ferociously clawed at the chain's base in the rock itself. The chain dropped, something brushed against my legs, and I struggled to keep my balance. My brother caught me, and we ran like hell towards the car. The fall of canine footsteps and wild panting chased us all the way. I have never run faster in my life. On the road heading out of the canyon, we were paced for a good 2 to 3 miles at least by what seemed to be a pack of wild strays. We made it home, and I will never forget the terror of being chased by this pack of spectral hounds. Never. That's why the locals simply refer to this as the Hell Dogs of Eldorado Canyon.
Yikes.
I know, and like the fact that it's like, okay, so growing up, I was always taught that, if you see a pack of coyotes, it's fine. Coyotes are more scared of you than you are of them. But if you see a lone coyote, or if you see a pack of stray dogs together, then you need to avoid that, because chances are that lone coyote was kicked out, or it's sick and it has rabies and it will attack you because it's most likely starving. And then a pack of wild dogs, it's extremely not natural to really see, so chances are those dogs will attack you. So I don't know what he fell upon. It could have been the ghost, it could have been a pack of wild dogs, it could have been a pack of coyotes, but I thought it was very cool.
You say you are okay with the pack and avoid the one. I've always been told the opposite. It's like One coyote
Really?
probably won't hurt you because it's one individual, but if it's a pack of coyotes, they get a little bit more ballsy.
That's true. I mean, I've been in the desert and we've been circled, as coyotes do. They circle you and you can hear them yipping from all directions, and it is terrifying. I have literally ran into a car and shut the door.
Like a random car?
No, it was our friends at the time. Their car. It was when we used to go out to the desert spot, Bulldog, in the middle of nowhere. But our guy friends, of course, would stay out there and just like yell at all the dog or the coyotes. But I don't know, for some reason, yeah, my parents always taught me chances are they have rabies and they're more likely to attack you if they're by themselves.
Didn't know that.
Conflicting information I see we got.
Right? Did the person in your story, did they see the dogs? Or was it just the noises? They freaked out because they heard the chain. Did they see the dogs?
No. He never said, let's see.
It sounded like it was just sound. Like they just heard the chain
Yeah.
and got
Yeah,
whipped.
he
The
said,
chain
yeah.
moved.
Yeah, the chain in the wall like moved, like it was trying, and then like something brushed against his leg. But then the fall of canine footsteps. So yeah, and then he said on the road heading out of the canyon, we were paced. So I think they just like heard it. Yeah,
Hmm.
probably just little ghosties chasing him out.
Freaky deaky.
Ooh, I would never. Alrighty, so I have a second one. So I got all my information off of Bodie.com, or this one you can go to California State Parks, parks.ca.gov, if you want to look at all these wonderful pictures. So Pinky, I sent you that link, so if you want to go ahead and click on that.
Yep.
So this next segment, it's Bodie, a ghostly ghost town. So Bodie, California is a town frozen in time and preserved by the California State Parks in the state of arrested decay. Bodie became a state historic park in 1962 and maintains the buildings just as they were when the state took over the town, but they do not actually restore the buildings. Instead, they just preserve the buildings in their aged and weathered 1800s appearance. It started with about 20 miners and grew to an estimated 10,000 people by 1880. By then, the town of Bodie bustled with families, robbers, miners, store owners, gunfighters, prostitutes, and people from every country in the world. At one time, there was reported to have 65 saloons in the town. Among the saloons were numerous brothels and houses of ill repute, gambling halls, and opium dens, an entertainment outlet for everyone. So basically what happened with Bodie is it was a bustling mining town. The founder of it, his last name was actually Bodie. So they named it, after him. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to reap the fruits of his labor, so to speak, because he actually froze to death in the winter in California when he was heading back to his campsite with supplies.
That sucks.
So he basically founded this town. It was named after him, and then froze to death. So why did everybody leave this ghostly ghost town? Well, while playing with matches, 2.5-year-old Bodie Bill was blamed for starting the fire in 1932, which destroyed all but 5 to 10% of the town. Poor little Bodie Bill, he surely burnt everything down, man. So Bodie is near the Nevada border. It's 50 miles south of Lake Tahoe in California, 7 miles south of Bridgeport off the Highway 395. There are several roads leading out of Bodie, but these are better off less traveled because you'll need like a four-wheeling vehicle. Lodging, which I thought was very interesting. You can actually book reservations to stay there. You can camp, or you can book a reservation nearby. And then they also offer ghost walks, which I thought was very interesting. It's $40 a person. And the park closes at 10, so it's not like you're going to be there for very late, but ghost walk would be super fun.
That sounds actually really cool. In California,
Yeah.
we could meet in the middle. Where out in California?
It sounds like I'm horrible with directions, but it's close to the Nevada border.
Oh, okay. So closer to you than to me in Washington.
Yeah, definitely. So, the legends about Bodie. So there's a thing known as the Bodie curse. So supposedly, if visitors take anything from this ghost town, even a pebble, they will be cursed with bad luck. Misfortune and tragedy are heaped upon the victim until the stolen item is returned. According to the park rangers, many who have taken things eventually return them to the park to rid themselves of this curse. So if you go to visit, don't be a Mr. Naughty Pants and take something that's not yours, okay? Because it's still very much alive.
This was just in a show I watched.
No way. So,
You've seen it too. The show with the girls. Dead to Me.
did they go there?
The girl who hit the husband, her boyfriend took something from this park, I swear. And he told her that he did and that they were cursed because of it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, he definitely took something.
I was
And
gonna
she's
say
like,
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing because they're in California.
oh my god, you're so smart. I would have never put those two things together. I swear to God.
It piqued my interest when they were talking about it.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. Well, lesson learned, folks. You've seen it on Netflix.
You're gonna be hitting bitches with cars if you don't heed the warning. Gonna ruin your life.
Don't ruin your life, all right? Just let the dead be at rest. That is all we ask.
For real.
So the park maintains a logbook of pages and pages of returned items. In the museum, you can see the letters from people who have returned items to the park. The curse is supposedly perpetuated by the ghost of Bodie, who guarded against thieves and to protect its treasures. Some believe that the curse is nothing more than just a superstition perpetuated by the park rangers to preserve Bodie as a historic site. However, I, for one, would not want to take that. I wouldn't want to risk it.
Ain't gonna risk it, nope.
Hell no.
Did you know that the name Bodhi is a Sanskrit name meaning awakened or enlightenment?
No way. I call my dog Bodie. His real name is Odie. So maybe he's like my enlightened one.
Yeah, I had a rat named Bodhi. We named him both Sanskrit names. So we had Pax, which is peace, and then Bodhi, which was awakened or enlightenment.
That's so cute.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Anyways, other ghostly legends have seemingly occurred in this ghost town that is said to be truly a ghost town, remaining home to several restless spirits. I have 5 different stories about people's experiences with these spirits. And I, for one, like to consider myself to be spiritually sensitive, so I very much believe in ghosts and all this stuff, and I definitely believe that you should not mess or provoke or try and piss off any spirit because I don't know, it's just not right. It just let them be at rest, they're doing their thing, you should do your thing.
See, and I'm a person who is very like scientifically grounded, maybe you'd say, and more like evidence-based, but I'm still like, you probably shouldn't fuck with things that just in case,
Yeah,
I've never really
definitely.
experienced anything to change my mind like solidly, but there've been some things. So,
I believe it. I mean,
I'm
I just,
open-minded. Yeah.
yeah, and that's how you should be. I mean, even if you don't believe in it, like whatever, it's just, I don't know, just don't be disrespectful with wherever you go or like whatever you do is my main takeaway. I don't know, like even when we like I visited Pinky this past summer in July, and we were just like walking around thrift stores and like a lot of like really really old stuff in Washington because she's like in the middle of nowhere. But even for me, like I could definitely sense like history and just I don't know. Like for me, it kind of gets hard for me to breathe because I just feel like there's just like so much. There's like a heaviness in the air.
All those
Um,
buildings are really old too. Like there's a lot of
yeah,
history in just those buildings, not to mention all the old shit that's in them.
definitely. And it's definitely like based on energies and everything. But I have a lot of stories of that to go over maybe in the future or something. I don't know. Y'all might just think I'm crazy. Anywho's, let's get to the good stuff. So, the J.S. Kane House is at the corner of Green and Park Street. It is said to be haunted by the ghost of a Chinese maid. Families of park rangers who have occupied the house describe the spirit as not liking adults but loves children. Adults sleeping in the house have said that they will wake in the night to find a heavy set woman sitting on them. Feeling suffocated, one woman fought so hard that she ended up on the floor. Others have reported seeing the bedroom door open and close on its own. The Gregory House is also said to be haunted by a ghost of an old woman. Guests and staff have reported seeing her in a rocking chair knitting in Afghan. At other times, the rocking chair has been seen rocking on its own accord. She's just doing the normal day-to-day stuff, preparing for winter. The Mendocini House is called home to several friendly ghosts. One is thought to be Miss Mendocini, who loved to cook her Italian food. Rangers reported today that they often smell the delicious aroma of her cooking when they enter the house. Others have reportedly heard party-like sounds coming from the next room and the sounds of children laughing. So that sounds like a very cute house. I would not mind staying because it's very like family oriented and just like food and party and Italian. It's just all about familia and it sounds
Homey.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the DeCambo house, visitors have seen a woman peering from the upstairs window. At the Bodie Cemetery is the Angel of Bodie, a 3-year-old child that was said to have been accidentally killed was hit in the head by a miner's pick. Her grave was mounted with an all-white marble angel, and on one occasion, a man visiting the cemetery with his little girl noticed that she was giggling and playing with an unseen entity. So today, Bodie is one of the largest and best preserved ghost towns in the West. Over 200 buildings are maintained in the state of what is termed arrested decay. Many original items are displayed in these old buildings. When people moved out after the fire in 1932, they packed what they could fit inside their wagon or their truck, and the rest was just left behind. Only about 10% of the original buildings still stand. However, what is left looks much the same as it did over 50 years ago. And then again, if you do want to see the pictures, go to parks.ca.gov. So there are no permanent residents in the town except for the park employees. In this original ghost town, you will find no tourist traps, restaurants, or recreated saloons. The only business in Bodie is their Bodie Museum, which is free to the public and offers books, postcards, and other souvenirs. So that is the story of Bodie, and we should definitely go sometime.
Sounds like a pretty cool little place. Not super menacing. I'm down.
Yeah, the way they like made it sound, I mean, maybe they made it like sound more nice to the public, so it's not so like, ooh, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I mean that can have like a totally opposite effect too, though. You've got those like horror junkies that are just itching to get
True.
some scratches or something crazy.
Yeah. Like have you seen like those YouTube videos where you can actually go see the real Annabelle doll?
No.
Girl, so okay. I was watching a video about it, and so you can go see the real Annabelle doll, but before you're allowed to go take the tour, a priest actually has to anoint you with like holy water, and he'll actually say a prayer over you, because it's not only Annabelle, basically like what all of those like movies were based off of was based off of a real life medium. And she actually would go to these places and exercise the homes, take the haunted items and preserve them in this like museum. So it's not only Annabelle, but there's like a whole other ton of like all this other haunted stuff. And you're not allowed to touch anything, obviously. I don't know who would want to, but yeah, you definitely have to be appointed by a priest before you go in.
Hell no.
No, I personally would probably faint with like how much negative energy and just like, because it's amazing the way they like try and trap these spirits. Like the doll itself, it's built in its own cage that has two crosses on each side and a cross on top, and then she's even sitting on a like, forgive me, I'm not Catholic, but there's like a Catholic prayer, I don't know if it's called something, under her pillow that she's sitting in. So yeah, you should definitely check it out on YouTube.
Yikes. Yeah, it sounds like something I should check out.
Stuff is real, man. You don't want to mess with that, but
That's always
it's
been
how
something that scared me more than anything in like movies is like exorcisms and possession.
Ooh, nope. No, thank you. I can't do that.
You should
It's
watch
too real.
it's called The Possession. And it's a little different than most exorcisms because they're usually Catholic, but this one's Jewish. And it's actually
No way.
really good. It'll scare the pants right off you, I'll tell you what.
No. Oh, I'll tell you what.
Tell you what.
No thanks. I like my pants. I'm gonna keep wearing them.
Screw pants.
Ooh. I'm gonna need a lot of gin for that.
Stone cold sober all by yourself, home alone.
Oh my god, is that what you did?
I watched the Babadook by myself alone, and I was like,
I think I watched that one by myself too.
it
That one
wasn't
was
like
really
super.
creepy.
Yeah, it was very eerie, and I thought it was gonna be kind of like a dumb kitty, and it kind of was like campy,
Yeah.
dumb, but it was creepy. You get that
Yeah. No,
feeling of
I
like,
wish.
ooh, I'm all alone, and I just have this weird sinking feeling.
It was very cool. I don't know. I hear like a lot of horror fanatics like really don't like that one. I'm like, why not?
See, I'm pretty particular about my horror, and like I think a lot of stuff is stupid and dumb, but Jonathan actually gets really wigged out by like nothing, and it's really enjoyable for me for him to be like freaking out and
It
scared
seems mean.
because he's just like, big burly manly hunter gun advocate, but then like we watch some haunted movie and he's like jumping out of his skin. I'm just like, this is the best. I love this. He hates it.
He's like, oh, babe, I don't like it. I can't watch any of that stuff in my house. Because Charles, my boyfriend, he's what you would call like an empath. So he is very sensitive and he has a lot of like anxiety issues. So I can't even tell him anything about the podcasts or like my stories or anything like it because he's just like, I can't. I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, so
I get it.
he's not gonna be a fan. He's not gonna be a viewer.
Oh, hell no. I'm like, we're lucky that he even like likes our stuff on Instagram. I even told him, I was like, dude, I'm not even post like creepy graphics. Like, you don't have to like it, but he is. He's just supporting me, being that strong man I need.
That's funny.
Oh, I love it.
Be nice to get some user-generated stories. So if any of you out there have some spooky, scary stories to share with us, we'd love to share them.
Right? Send them my way, and I'll be happy to go ahead and share your stories. Anything you got, any experiences from when you're like a kid, or any of your friends' experiences. I sure do have a lot of stories that I would like to share with you guys as well. And just any like creepy haunted places wherever you guys live, go ahead and share that with us, and we'll be happy to share it. That wraps up the Spooky Scary Show. So if you wish to stay up to date with us, be sure to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We are super excited to begin this new podcast journey and to make new friends along the way. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll scare you later.
Bye.